Let's say China.
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 China. China.
There are next door neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
You go over to China.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Trump's fake tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host.
Yes. Hello, and welcome. I am James Andrews, and you are listening to So This Happened, the only news you need if you were born under a bad sign. It's Wednesday, the 18th of October 2017, and today, unfortunately, we have to start off with a little bit of sad news. The Canadian rock band Tragically Hip's frontman, Gord Downie, passed away this morning after battling for over a year with brain cancer. He was 53 years old. Now, the name Gord Downie may not mean much to you, but the Tragically Hip are one of Canada's biggest bands. They are absolutely massive there. They haven't enjoyed as much success in the US or elsewhere around the world, but this guy truly was a Canadian icon. He's been dubbed the country's unofficial poet laureate. Now, Downey was diagnosed with an incurable brain cancer in May of 2016, and he continued even through all that to tour with his band The Tragically Hip, and also to record a number of solo albums. And this really has had a massive impact in Canada. And Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, went on television this morning to pay tribute to Gord Downie, and I want to play it for you because it's nice to remember what it feels like to have an empathetic and human leader in charge of the country.
Lost one of the very best of us this morning. Gord was my friend, but Gord was everyone's friend. It's who we were. Our buddy Gord, who loved this country with everything he had, and not just loved it in a nebulous, oh, I love Canada way. He loved every hidden corner, every story, every aspect of this country that he celebrated his whole life. And he wanted to make it better. He knew, as great as we were, we needed to be better than we are. And that's why his last years were devoted to Cheney Wedjack and to reconciliation. This is something that I've certainly drawn inspiration and strength from, and we are less as a country without Gord Downie in it, and we all knew it was coming, but we hoped it wasn't. And I thought I was going to make it through this, but I'm not. It hurts.
Well, I think Justin Trudeau said it there better than anybody else could. So, Gord, rest in peace, my friend. And if you are not familiar with the Tragically Hip, I do recommend tonight go listen to a couple of their songs, listen to a few of their albums. It may open up a whole new door for you into some wonderful artists from up north. And while we're on the topic of empathetic and human leaders, Donald Trump. Today, the president is facing calls that he was insensitive when he made a phone call to the widow of one of the soldiers who was killed recently in Niger. Now, yesterday we were talking about how Donald Trump was upset because people said he hadn't called. Well, he did in fact make the phone call after it was alleged that he hadn't made the phone call, and it perhaps would have been better if he had not. Congresswoman Frederica Wilson told the press that when the president called Myesha Johnson, who is the widow of the fallen soldier, that he told her he knew what he was signing up for, but I guess it hurts anyway. Now, Mr. Trump has said that this is, and I quote, totally fabricated. It never happened. But unfortunately for Donald Trump, Sergeant Johnson's mother, Coanda Jones Johnson, has come forward and backed what Mrs. Wilson said. And she has said, yes, the president was insensitive when he talked to my daughter-in-law. And he did in fact say, well, he knew what he signed up for. The president today has been out in front of the cameras really trying to make the point that, no, I didn't say any of that. So, well, here's President Empathy.
Didn't say what that congresswoman said. Didn't say it at all.
Well, in case you're wondering, here is what the congresswoman said.
I was in the car when President Trump called. He never said the word hero. He said to the wife, well, I guess he knew what he was getting into.
Wow, well done, Donald. But the president continued, and his story of what happened differed slightly from the congresswoman that was in the car, the widow, and the dead soldier's mother. So here's what Donald said actually happened during the conversation.
I had a very nice conversation with the woman, with the wife, who sounded like a lovely woman, did not say what the congresswoman said.
Guess what, Donald? The woman you're talking about, the widow, has a name, and it's Myesha Johnson. So maybe if you're trying to prove to everybody how sensitive you are, rather than referring to as that woman, nice woman, but a woman, maybe you could say, Mrs. Johnson or Myesha Johnson. Maybe. And then the president went a little bit further and he said, no, I have proof that I didn't say that. And then when asked by journalists, Mr. President, what proof do you have? Donald Trump said his favorite phrase. Yes, you've guessed it. He said, you'll find out. And this is really one of those moments where you just sort of want to scream at every aide that's in the White House and say, can you tell him to shut his fucking mouth? He is making this worse. This is not the first time Donald Trump has attacked US soldiers. The most famous one was when he mocked Senator John McCain, saying that he preferred his heroes not to get caught. And of course we can't forget about his row with Mr. and Mrs. Khan back during the election season. So somebody really just needs to go to Donald and say, look mate, don't talk about soldiers at all. Don't say anything. Just keep your fucking mouth shut, because every time you open it, you make it worse. You are now fighting with a grieving widow. Essentially, right? That's what he's doing. He is now saying, no, that's not what I said. I've got proof. She's fucking full of shit. She's lying. And I have proof. I didn't tap the phones. That's Obama's thing, but I do have proof. And not only is President Trump President Empathy, but apparently he's also President Flip-flop, or President I Can't Decide, or President Huh? Today, he criticised a healthcare bill, a bipartisan healthcare bill, which has sort of been in the works for the last week. It comes from Senators Lamar Alexander, who's a Republican from Tennessee, and Patty Murray, who is a Democrat from Washington. They came up with a short-term healthcare plan that would sort of fill the gap before they decide what they're actually going to do. Now on Tuesday, so yesterday, Donald Trump praised it. And he said there's a great emerging agreement on a short-term deal, and it's great. I love it. Well, today, moments ago, he just tweeted, I am supportive of Lamar as a person and also of the process, but I can never support bailing out insurance companies who have made a fortune with O-Care. And this 180-degree turn in less than 24 hours has a lot of people on the Hill scratching their heads, not least Senator Murray, who's just saying, well, we had a thing, he loved it yesterday, and then today he doesn't love it. Did he read it? Is that what happened? Did someone fucking let him read it? Don't let him read shit, because that's when we get in trouble, because then he starts thinking for himself. That's when we're in trouble. Now, Senator Murray has also said that she will just continue to work on this bill, the Alexander Murray bill. They'll just continue doing it because, in her words, I quote, "I don't respond to the president's tweets. I respond to getting the job done, working with Lamar to get this passed." So it seems that people on the Hill are starting to realize that 99% of what gets tweeted from the White House is complete horse shit. Senator Schumer went as far as to say, and I quote, "He keeps changing his mind on issue after issue, and that shows an appalling lack of leadership." Now, he said today that it would benefit the insurance companies. He ought to read the bill before he tweets. And that's where Senator Schumer and I disagree, because I suspect Donald Trump read it and goes, fuck, this is just Obamacare. What? No. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he didn't read the bill and he's just tweeting out of his arsehole. And in news that will truly horrify you, Daddy Pence's brother, Greg Pence, is running for Congress. Greg Pence filed a tax document indicating he will seek the Eastern Indiana congressional seat that his little brother occupied for the last 12 years. On Monday, he formed the Greg Pence for Congress committee, and it looks like he might actually be the favorite to win this thing for the Republicans. Now, Greg Pence once ran the family business, which was the Tobacco Road convenience stores, and it should be pointed out that they actually ended up going bankrupt and closing all their stores under Greg Pence's tenure as the boss of that country. But I'm sure he'll do better for a state than he did for a convenience store. Right? Maybe? Oh dear. Sorry, Indiana. Well, still, it could be worse. It could be Kid Rock that was running to be your congressman. And finally, some good news to end on. California has become the first state in the union to make it illegal for places to sell puppies that come from puppy mills. And this is wonderful news. I'm a big softie when it comes to dogs. You may know that about me. I have a shitload of them. And I love that. Puppy mills are one of the most awful things going, and I really hope that other states follow California's lead and ban this really terrible practice. So if you're going to get a dog, adopt, don't shop. Anyway, that's my public service announcement for the day. Anyway, so well done, California. Congratulations. Anyway, that's it for today. It was a good conversation, as always. We can always continue it on Twitter at SoThisHappened, or if you're of the slightly older generation and you prefer Facebook, that's fine as well. We can do that. And if you wouldn't mind leaving me a little review on iTunes, let me know what you think of the show. That would be wonderful. I do like reading those, and they do really help out the show as well in the iTunes ratings, so more and more people can hear it, which is well, my ego really likes that. So no, I'm just kidding. But I do love reading your reviews. I really appreciate it. So anyway, listen, take care. We'll do this all over again tomorrow, and good night.